Fear on the High Seas. A serialized gay romance taking place on the Caribbean cruise liner, the Majestic Coral. Sail with me as I bring everyone a Caribbean adventure with romance, humor, and possible destruction. Penned by Ryland Mason, narrated by me, Brian Shepard.
Chapter 6. Eric. Eric just stood there, holding the phone as he listened to what this person was telling him. There was no Smith, and he was in charge. "Who is this, and where's Smith?" Eric demanded, now wanting answers. There was no way he was just going to let someone take his ship. Yet looking at Justin now sitting at the bar, still with that worried look, meant the passengers were in danger. He needed to do something. But what? Smith? Well, let's just say she fought the good fight and sadly lost. I'm pretty sure she was shark food somewheres. As for me, well, that's not important. The important thing, Captain, is that I have control of the ship. Devine replied back with just as much tone in his voice as Eric. What is it that you want? Eric asked. Why you, Captain? Devine simply said, which had Eric just picturing a nasty grin on the other end of the phone. Me? Why me? Why go through all of this just to get to me? I'm always around the ship. And what was that? That explosion? What happened to the ship? Oh, that little blip? Got a little rocky there for a moment. Well, your laundry room is out of service for the foreseeable future. Seems someone washed something they shouldn't have. Like a bomb. Dirty things, yet they pack a punch. Not sure you want to go in there. All you'll see are floating towels. Not really going to help soak up all that water, I'm afraid, Devine said, almost laughing at the thought, which had now Eric seeing red. I'll tell you what, Captain, since I'm such a nice guy and all, I will allow for the evacuation of the ship. Yet you only have 30 minutes before I restart the engines. Oh, and Captain, no going and being the hero, as it's you that needs to remain on board. Just you. 30 minutes is not enough. The fire doors are closed. We're trapped. There's no power. How are we to launch the lifeboats? Eric, hoping to stall the guy, thinking he forgot something or didn't plan everything correctly. You think I'm an idiot, Captain? I control everything on the ship. I highly suggest you get moving, as time is running out. Oh, I suggest you make the call and order the evacuation, saying nothing else. Hurry, Captain. You just lost 5 minutes, Devine said, as he hung up. A dial tone could be heard, meaning he left the lines open. Looking around the room and looking at Justin, who was now standing next to Eric, grabbing for his hand, Eric knew what he had to do. Not something he thought he would ever have to do. Again. Eric pressed the button for the shipwide announcement and began to speak. Attention all passengers. This is the captain. At this time, we are evacuating the ship due to some damage caused. I ask that you remain calm as you make your way to the lifeboats. All crew, report to your muster stations and begin lifeboat procedures. Again, all passengers are to make their way to the lifeboats. If you need medical attention, please let the crew know. Eric stopped, sighed, and hung up the phone. All right, let's get people up to deck, looking at the crew member behind the bar. Justin, babe, we need to get you off the ship. I don't want you in danger, Eric said as they started to walk towards the door. Help me make sure everyone is out, he said as he held the door open as passengers piled out one by one. Justin, nodding, smiled. You called me babe. I didn't think we were at that point. I just met you, Justin said in amazement. Took your mind off things for the moment as you are smiling, babe. Babe, yeah, I like it. Sounds right. Eric replied with a smile, as it seemed everyone was now out of the lounge. It was time to get Justin to a lifeboat, and fast. All right, everyone, I'm going to stop right there. I did ask earlier on my Facebook page, which you can find me at author R. Mason, if anyone had any questions and that I would respond to them during the reading of Chapter 6, which we're now in. So I'm just going to quickly read just a couple of those questions now. I'll save some of them for Chapter 7. So if I don't read all of your questions, I will read them during Chapter 7. Okay, so Kayla Fallon, out of both Justin and Eric, who do you relate with more, as in personality-wise? I would say Eric. I am fascinated with cruise ships and just boats in general, the ocean, all that stuff. So to be in Eric's shoes, commanding a ocean liner, that just fascinates me. To actually be able to do that. I can't do that. I'm not a captain of a ship. So I can write a captain of a ship doing it as if I was the one that's doing it. I can live through him. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I love it. So yeah, it's going to have to be Eric. Let's see. I like how they are complete opposite looks-wise. So far, they seem to mesh well. Is there any trouble in paradise for them, or will they bond even stronger throughout the book, without giving anything away, of course? Well, as you just read in Chapter 5, it's gotten bad, and it's only going to get worse. So there's going to be that strain just a little bit, but I don't know if it's a relationship. Is it a relationship? I guess there's only one way to find out, huh? So, great question. Kayla also asks, will we ever get a real visual of what Eric and Justin look like on paper? The details are amazing. I'd love to see them in real life. Well, I would have to say yes. I have commissioned an artist. She lives in Romania, of all places. And she is tasked with coming up with Justin and Eric based on my descriptions. So, yes, we will see them on paper, and I'm very excited. But it's going to take a little while, so it's not going to be for at least a couple of weeks. So as soon as I have the final concept, and I'm happy with what I see, I'll release it, and I'll make sure the whole world meets Eric and Justin. Don't you worry, Kayla. Thanks for your question. All right, back to the story. Let's continuing on. Coming up onto the deck, Eric walked into chaos. People scurried about, checking in with staff for their life jackets. Eric could see Rollins towards the bow of the ship, helping passengers into the lifeboat. Rollins, where's the rest of the bridge crew? I'm not seeing anyone. Captain, glad to see you. I left the bridge to see why we lost engines. When I got to the engine room, everyone was dead, sir. The phones and the power went out, so I couldn't call Smith. What is going on? Why are we evacuating? Is something wrong with the ship, sir? Rollins asked, trying to stay calm as he continued to help passengers into the boat. When Eric turned to have Justin get into the lifeboat, he was gone. Looking around and even calling his name, Justin was no longer on deck. Eric began to walk around, yelling his name even more as he wondered where he might have gone. Only 15 minutes remained until this guy would move the ship. I can worry about Justin along the way. Maybe I will run into him. As Eric continued to check on the status of each lifeboat, it was him who gave the clear to launch as he stood on the deck watching one by one being extended out and lowered into the sea. Not the sight anyone or even the captain should ever witness. Never mind the fact that this was now twice for Eric. As Eric finally made his way to the stern, he saw Chance helping Ashley and Anita into the last lifeboat. Eric, walking over to Chance, asked, "Chance, hey, have you seen Justin? I seem to have lost him on deck and haven't come across him. I'm worried." "Ashley, I will explain as soon as we're able to speak. For now, I want you off the ship with everyone else," Eric said. "No, Captain, I have not seen Justin. Last I knew he was with you." "He's got to be here. We need to look for him," Chance said, walking away from Eric. Eric, quickly grabbing his arm. "No, you off the ship. Let me find him. It'll be okay." "No offense, but I'm not leaving him. I'm going to find him whether you like it or not," Chance said, looking at Eric dead in his eyes and not backing away. He meant business. "Okay, fine, but follow my lead. I was not supposed to leave anyone on board." "Well, that's what the crazy guy said, who has taken over my ship and blown out my laundry room." He signaled for this last lifeboat to leave as the engines could be heard. Eric was hoping that Justin simply was sent into a different direction with all the confusion on deck and was able to make it into a lifeboat. Please let him be safe. Eric thought of him as him and Chance raced back towards the bridge, as the ship now was starting to move. Reaching the door to the bridge, Eric tapped his key card against the black panel on the wall, which allowed for the door to open. There was no one on the bridge. The reason being is because everyone was dead on the floor. Everyone Eric grew to know during the trip and before were gone. There's no way this was a one-man job. Trying to focus as Chance just stood there in shock, Eric noticed that the ship was not on course and was heading in a different direction. If his brain was functioning right, they were heading for the reefs. The ringing of the phone caught both Eric and Chance looking quickly at each other, while Eric walked over to it, trying not to trip over a body. "Captain, it seems we have a problem. I told you, no one on board, just you. Yet what do I find wandering around like a lost puppy? Your date, it would seem. Oh well, just adds to the excitement and something to toy with while we wait," Devine said, as you could hear what sounded like muffled talking. "Don't lay a finger on him. What do you want? Tell me," Eric practically yelled into the phone. "You, Captain, along with your boat on the bottom of the ocean. It seems you took something very dear from my client, and now they want to return the favor. Poor Justin. Sad to have sailed for the first and last time, only to get mixed up with your baggage." Just then, another explosion rocked the boat, sending Chance to the floor, coming face to face with a wide-eyed dead crew member looking back. Scurrying away and trying to stand up, Chance looked over to Eric. Mortified as more indicators were lighting up along the board, as more fire doors were being closed to contain the fire. Alarms started to sound, indicating water was now entering the ship, kicking on the water pumps, which should have signaled closure of the watertight doors in that section. No lights came on, and no doors closed. Whoops! Someone must have left the hairdryer on in the hair salon. You can never trust those chairs. They could cause a fire if not careful. "Gotta go, Captain," he began to say when Eric cut him off. "Why are you doing this? What did I take? Tell me. Just please don't hurt Justin. That's all I ask. He has nothing to do with this," Eric pleaded, as he could not stand the thought of something happening to Justin, not when things were looking up for him. Justin was his. He promised to keep him safe, and somehow he had to find a way to do that. "Boy, you're either dumb or you really have no clue. So in that case, I'll tell you. Boy, Justin, are you sure you want to be with this guy? He can't even keep you close. Loser. Yet, that's your type. Sad, really. I really dig redheads." "Captain, does the name Charlotte Summers ring a bell?" he said, as he knew that would joggle his memory. The phone went dead. "Chief Summers? From the Penny May?" He thought, trying to remember what happened.